Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Michael Custodio, City Attorney. To the members of the public calling in, when it is your turn to speak, please state which of the agenda items you would like to speak on. You have 1 minute per item to speak, up to 2 minutes total, and 1 minute for general public comment. We will tell you when your time is up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you are speaking on a specific agenda item, you will get one brief warning from me, City Attorney, or the Chair. If you do not immediately get clearly on topic, or again stray off topic, the Chair will cut you off and you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time, and we will move on to the next speaker. It will take up to 1 hour total of public comment. Please press *9 to request to speak. And as soon as you hear someone address you on the phone, please press *6 and state your name and which agenda items you would like to speak on. We know the situation is not ideal, and thank you for your cooperation as we do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. And Mr. Villanueva, before you read the instructions for the public to call in, I would just like to welcome everyone. Good morning to the Virtual Homelessness and Poverty Committee regular hearing. I am joined by Mr. Rue, Mr. Bonin, and Mr. Harris-Dawson. And before I turn it over to the clerk, we'd like to remind everyone to make sure they're on mute also when not speaking. Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Please call the roll.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Mitchell Pharaoh.
Present.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez. Councilmember Mike Bonin.
Present.
Councilmember Marquis Harris-Dawson.
Here.
Councilmember David Rue.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Villanueva. Just a note from the chair is that if all items on this agenda are approved today, there will be 253 new supportive housing units. So far, we've also committed 98% of the $1.2 billion in Prop HHH funding to build this housing as promised to the voters back in 2016 when this was on the ballot through 111 different housing projects across the city. All right, with that, we are ready to take public comment. Please bring in the first caller.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read the instruction for them?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
The audio for this meeting is broadcast live on the internet at www.lact.org/government/follow meetings/council committee meetings. The live audio can also be heard at 213-621-2489. Again, the number is 213-621-2489 or 818-904-9450. Again, that's 818-904-9450. Members of the public who would like to offer a public comment on the items listed on the agenda should call 669-254-5252. Again, the number is 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-817-9748. Again, the meeting ID number is 160-817-9748, and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak.
Wonderful. And we can now start public comment. Thank you, Mr. Villanueva.
Caller with the phone number ending in 5420. Please press *9 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hello, this is Alyssa Cash. I'm calling as part of a coalition of young professionals in the Los Angeles area to urge the City Council to pass a resolution to suspend enforcement of Municipal Code 5611,
Okay, so
thereby
this,
ending the
I'm
inhumane
sorry,
and
so this is general public comment then, and you have 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thereby ending the inhumane and illegal practice of sweeps of homeless encampments. We believe these sweeps are a public health hazard. In addition to people's belongings and medications being thrown away, the CDC issued guidelines in March that specifically recommended against clearing these encampments, given the potential to disperse the spread of COVID-19 more widely through communities. Weekly comprehensive cleanups force elderly and disabled residents to break down their tents and relocate without regard for their health or physical limitations. We are additionally concerned by recently reported trends that unhoused Angelenos are avoiding city cooling centers during extreme heat waves, compounding the effects of environmental racism on this vulnerable community. In addition to the public health implications, we believe that these sweeps are inhumane, particularly given the ongoing shortage of shelter beds and the daily cost, $45,000 of these sweeps. We believe it is unjust to subject anyone to this wanton destruction of their property. These cruel and costly sweeps needlessly punish houseless Angelenos who want to act.
Thank you. That has been your 1 minute. Thank you for calling in. And for callers, just remember, when you're identified to speak, please press *9, and then you'll be ready to speak. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4990. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Could you please repeat that instruction?
Caller with the phone ending in 4990. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name or what items you would like to speak on.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, you can be heard. You're on. Which items would you like to speak on?
I want to speak on every one. I don't remember specific number 7 that refers to the homeless strategy.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes.
The one about bonding. Excuse me.
You have 2 minutes to speak on all the items.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Okay, I'm here to talk about. My name's Harvey Edders. I'm with the Public Solar Power Coalition, and we've got a special project working on homelessness. I'm working out at the Air District for 35 years, trying to get them to implement an equitable, just solar transition. Okay, what you all don't have, as far as I can tell, and then it's not in the litigation with Judge Carter's court or whatever's coming up with the ADA and etc., is home ownership. There is and has been for 20 years a home ownership voucher under Section 8, and there's parts of programs that have started both city and county, but totally inadequate. City did 33 houses. Anyway, I had a regular voucher changing to home ownership and reviving it and putting it into class. Okay. Also, so this has to be done. The same thing. The principle of home ownership. If you want to solve the homelessness program, in the federal regulations, it says there's no income requirements for senior and disabled people under the federal law. Okay. Also, tax delinquent property. We need to have written into law, that's up to you, that we have right of first refusal on the homeless people. Okay. These are the folks that are going to flip it and make money. You let them fine, but we got first right. This goes to all financing. When you have bonds, okay, these bonds do not go through unless we get home ownership in there. You're spending $500,000, $750,000 on a unit, etc. We got to look at other types of units and whatnot. Also, tax. Okay. The tax credits that are given for these developments, 70, 80, 90% state, federal, that instead of the well-informed and well-connected getting that, those go to us, to low-income, to homeless, top priority, and that anything that goes with financing through state, federal government.
That's your 2 minutes for public comment. That's your 2 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4466. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 4466. Please press star 6 to unmute and state what item you would like to speak on.
Hello, my name is Alexandra Valdez. I'm the Executive Director of the Los Angeles City County Native American Indian Commission, and today I'm calling to speak on item 14.
Thank you. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. I'm calling to share my support for item 14. Unfortunately, the Native American residents of Los Angeles County are disproportionately impacted by homelessness, and we truly don't even know the full extent to which our Native community members are unhoused. It is critical that we start to fund and support programs and services to fully understand how this is impacting our community members, the first peoples of this land. And I highly encourage City Council to pass this motion. Thank you for hearing me. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Caller with a phone number ending in 3515. Please state your name and what items you would like to speak on. Caller with a phone number ending in 3515. Please press star and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Caller, if you're there, press star 6.
Okay. Can you hear me? Sorry about that.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you for taking my call. This is just a general public comment.
Okay,
I just want to thank the council. Just want to thank you as a committee, as well as the cities that have been cleaning up the homeless encampments. I specifically noticed it in Studio City and Encino. Just want to thank you for that. Just want to encourage you to continue to clean up the city. There are a lot of residents that understand how complex this issue is. We want to see the city clean. We want it safe. So just want to thank you. Just want to encourage you to continue to do that, especially in the downtown Los Angeles area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller with a phone number ending in 5505. Please press star 6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nick. I am a downtown LA resident. I'm calling on behalf of a lot of downtown LA residents. I have to disagree with the previous caller. We have seen no cleanup of any homeless in our community.
And Nick,
and
is this
no longer go to
is this a general
the
public
Park
comment?
Lake. I can no. This is general public comment.
Okay.
I can no longer go to the the Echo Park Lake. It was once a beautiful park, but now it's an absolute mess. And I am so disappointed that our city council is letting down all Angelenos, including the homeless. Please clean up our neighborhood.
Thank you, Nick. Next caller, please.
Caller with a phone number ending in 1898. Please press star 6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
I'm sorry. Can I be called later? I'm actually driving at the moment.
Okay, yeah, just call back in once you are safely at your destination, and we'll take the next call in the meantime.
Caller with a phone number ending in 9453. Please press star 6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hello, my name is Moira Kelly, and I would like to make a comment on item 13 and item 10, please.
You bet. You have 2 minutes.
With regards to item 13, Mr. Pharaoh is trying to negotiate a deal with Patrick Soon-Shiong, who is the owner of the LA Times and also owns St. Vincent's Hospital. As an activist for homelessness and the mental health services for our homeless, I plead with our city and Patrick Soon-Shiong to please negotiate so we could potentially use St. Vincent's Hospital as a medical center for our homeless crisis and our mental health homelessness crisis in Los Angeles. With regards to item 10, I totally support Mitch O'Farrell on the Hollywood Recreation Center facility to remain open for our homeless community until we have resolved our pandemic crisis and we have overcome the potential flu season and winter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 0201. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Yes, this is Jeff Giles. I would like to speak on item number 13.
Okay, you have 1 minute, sir. Please turn off your device so that we can hear the background, though.
Oh.
And winter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I would like to speak in favor of a sweep to clean up Echo Park. The growing encampments are presenting increasing health and safety threats to the surrounding community. A public park is not an appropriate venue for warehousing the homeless, where crime and drug use are directly interfacing with the public. Please devise an urgent plan to relocate all of the encampments to other local parks or appropriate areas and restore Echo Park to the use of the public. I am in favor of a permanent law enforcement presence in Echo Park, as well as closure of the restrooms at 10 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for the record, we were joined earlier by Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Caller with the phone number ending in 5803. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Jacob Van Horn, and I would like to make a general public comment.
All right, sir, you have 1 minute.
I'd like to thank you for the actions and efforts on the issues of homelessness and poverty as it relates to the pandemic. In my neighborhood of downtown Los Angeles, COVID-19 has hit us particularly hard, but we're resilient because we've been facing our own personal pandemic for years. Rising homelessness, poverty, violent crime, property crime, and native strains of bacteria and viruses affect us all on a daily basis. We've seen that we can't simply spend, build, or arrest our way out of this problem. The problem's too complex, and we need you to be our heroes and innovate additional solutions to make a lasting impact. I only ask that as we can conquer COVID-19, we put the same urgency, effort, and passion into flattening our other pandemic, which for us is just as much of an everyday humanitarian crisis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 0907. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on. Caller with 7. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can. Please state your
Great.
name you'd like to speak on.
Hi, I'm Allison Schellert, and I'm calling in support of item number 10. I urge you to do everything you can to help the people on the street. I applaud all your hard work and your effort. I also, like a previous caller, support strong negotiations with the in order to procure the St. Vincent's Medical Center. Thank you so much for your hard work and all of your service, and I'm so sorry our environment has become so toxic on every side of every issue. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, and thank you for adding your voice to that notion. And just as a reminder for everyone, please press *9 to request to speak. Just as a reminder. Thank you. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 9727. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Caller, just press *6, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I'd like to speak on items 2 and 6.
Okay, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to address it to Marquise Harris Dawson because I am familiar with his office, and I lived in CD8. There are many things. I see that there's a supportive housing project that is allocated towards the West Adams. I'm not familiar with it, and I like to reach out to his office and how would I get more information because, I mean, throughout the city, I was helping a person who was on Skid Row, and I've not been down there. It's deplorable. I mean, it's just horrible. And a person who had been abused and was sent to the women's shelter there. I've also seen people in the Venice area. The encampments are just outrageous and overwhelming. And for those who have participated in the Project Room Key, who came off the street, and I've been reading in the paper about, you know, the problems and the issues with it. They're being abused in those homes, specifically in those hotels, with St. Joseph's. And I don't think that the abuse that they're experiencing is what the city intended. These people are being locked in. They're told they cannot go out, not even for exercise. They're restricted to a 5-hour period. It's a tyranny for what they're experiencing. And I'm trying, but I'm only one little person to help. I've experienced some challenges myself. But, you know, for a person who's already compromised, that's on the street, and takes something that was intended to be a great, you know, effort with Project Room Key. But these people are taking advantage of it. They're not placing them. They're not helping them with finding housing. And I don't know how they're being paid. So I like to work with Marquise's office and working through some of these challenges.
Caller, your time is up, but you can always call or email any office, including Mr. Harris Dawson's. And if Mr. Harris Dawson would like to weigh in, feel free to. But we're easy to reach.
Thank you. That sounded like Ms. Champ. We are easy to reach. Our homeless deputy is Aiden. So if you give us a call and ask for Aiden, we can get you connected.
Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 5053. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi. I think you can all hear me, correct?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. My name is Jackie Warhauer. I am calling from, I work with the center in Hollywood. I used to be a resident in Hollywood. I have some colleagues who are residents in Hollywood, and they also work in Hollywood. They're actually out in encampments working right now, so I'm kind of calling on behalf of them as well.
Okay.
We're calling on item number... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I'm calling in response to item number 13 in regards to the Cole Rec Center. Very briefly, we would love to see it reopen. You know, we have about 1,000 people who are unsheltered right now, and any space we can have to shelter people, to have a space where people are safe, where we can drive people towards services, towards permanent solutions, towards problem solving, is really needed right now, especially with the rainy and the cold seasons coming up. And I know that there's a lot of concerns, you know, with matters that currently exist, but I do want to point out to people that any concerns exist now, and that's with a shelter not open. When you open a shelter, we open up opportunities. And so I just would like to speak in favor of opening up space where we can actually keep people in their community where they currently are, but provide safety and moving people towards permanent solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 8914. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, good morning. My name is Stephanie Lemus, and I'm a commissioner on the Health Commission, and I'm calling on items 11 and 12.
All right, welcome, and you have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your leadership, Councilmember Mitchell Pharaoh. I really thank you for all the great work that you're doing in our communities. But specifically, I want to urge everyone to continue to support items 11 and 12. More than ever, our vulnerable communities, our homeless, our communities that are experiencing homelessness need any collaboration between departments, specifically right with the LA County and also with the City Health Commission. Any collaboration, added streams of funding is essential right now. Our communities need it. And so any efforts that we can do to enhance the collaboration, to work together, to redivert funding to the city where we can tackle on together this issue will be helpful. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1898. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Agenda item. I'm speaking on agenda item 13.
13? Okay, you have 1 minute.
This is regarding Councilmember Pharaoh's motion requesting a feasibility evaluation for turning the Hollywood Rec Center into interim homeless housing. One might think a city council member would know the law before proposing such a motion. It's illegal. Under the City of Los Angeles Charter Section 594C, restrictions on transfer of dedicated parks, all land heretofore or hereafter set apart or dedicated as a public park shall forever remain for the use of the public inviolate. This motion needs to be shut down now. I also object to the Central Hollywood Neighborhood Council's community impact statement. It goes against the majority of stakeholders' comments at the September 29 hearing. Of the 9 people that supported the motion, 7 of them work for service providers that are likely vying for the chance to be a provider for anything that comes of this motion. We have failed the unhoused community with the bridge housing on Schrader and Selma and at the majority of shelters in the city. LA has made homeless housing a profitable business, and this motion moves that business forward.
Thank you.
Our unhoused community needs improvements to service. You're
1 minute.
taking away the only...
Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1900. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1900. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Caller, are you there? Just press *6 and we'll be ready for you. As a reminder, before we go to the next caller, make sure that you press *9 at the beginning to request to speak. Then you'll be called on. You then press *6. Let's go with either the caller if she's there, he's there, or the next caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1635. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Morrison. This is such a great agenda. If we were allowed to be together, I would have driven to City Hall. I would like to speak on 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Thank you, Carrie. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi, friends. As you know, I'm very involved in Hollywood, and I also have the pleasure to serve as a citizen oversight member of the Triple H Committee. I want to applaud you for how you are just looking at the array of issues that we need to address at this time of such a crisis, the dual crises of homelessness and the pandemic. Just working backwards, very much supportive of seeing the Cole Recreation Center repurposed as an emergency shelter when it was put up in April. within 72 hours, 27 people were gratefully moved in off the streets. And as the previous person testified, we have about 1,000 people living unsheltered on the streets in Hollywood right now. So I hope during this time, unfortunately, where we cannot be using that recreation center, we can put it to good use as a transitional shelter for people. Also, very excited to see that you are recognizing that the board and care system, which is a very precious housing resource for people with severe mental illness, is slipping away, given to the extremely low reimbursement rates that board and care operators are given at $35 a day to take care of very vulnerable people. So happy to see that you are looking at how we can include this precious housing resource in our city's homeless strategy. So I applaud that. I applaud the fact that you're looking at how do we look out for the mental health, public health, and health needs of our city's residents, because those are services provided by the county. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that the city has not a lot of control over that, and there really needs to be greater collaboration, because we see such an incidence of untreated mental illness and substance abuse on the streets of our city right now. And finally, looking at the potential to repurpose St. Vincent into a comprehensive campus for providing housing, treatment, substance abuse treatment, mental health treatment, whatever, is a wonderful objective, and I wish you all success in negotiating with the owners to consider that process. So thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 8178. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 8178. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Caller, are you there? All you need to do is press *6 and we're ready for you. I think they're not there. Oh, you are there.
Hi, I'm here. It takes a long time for it to unmute, and this was a week that you guys were on reset.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thanks. My name is Sophie Strauss. I'm calling about item number 6.
Okay.
And I'm calling because I'm pretty horrified by this city council's entire approach to our housing crisis. It's criminalization, it's sweeps, it is brutal treatment of our most vulnerable at a time when people are even more vulnerable than usual. You have a massive housing crisis on your hands already, and it's only going to get worse when the very weak tenant protections you've put in place come to an end when the state of emergency is lifted. You guys need to stop sweeping. You need to stop criminalizing these encampments. These are people that we know. These are people who are fighting for their lives, and you are all a shame on this city. Care about the people who are most vulnerable. Stop taking money from real estate investors and lobbyists. Stop taking money from the cops who criminalize them. Stop endorsing Jackie Lacey. It's embarrassing. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. We are in a time of need, and you've done nothing but cause further harm.
All right, next caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 7277. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi there, this is Jed Perriott. I'd like to speak on items number 6 and 13.
Okay, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, so having been told that a lot of folks are calling about, particularly in Echo Park, the need to sweep and criminalize folks, people are mad about encampments. This is just the reality, once again, of the failure of our city. Y'all are going to have to keep telling your constituents, your homeowners who are so upset, why can't you sweep? Why can't you throw out everyone's stuff? This is the reality, and you're going to have to fucking live in it and face it every day. And you're going to have to start talking to your houseless neighbors on a daily basis and getting to know them. I really don't understand these folks who are saying, oh, I can't go to Echo Park Lake anymore, it's too scary. Have they ever talked to the folks who live there, who are incredible, who are actually coming up with solutions on their own for the issues that they're facing, for the neglect that they're facing? And so I would also just like to say, yeah, their voices need to be involved in this process far more. Where the hell is this committee on those with lived experience? that is supposed to be happening, that needs to happen years ago. That should have already happened. And then on item 13, this space on coal, I really hope that Mitch O'Farrell isn't going to be putting a criminalization enforcement zone around this. If you do, it's just going to add to the litany of sweeps and criminalization that are going to continue to be under scrutiny and continue to be shamed, and we're going to continue to put a stop to them. That being us, the community, who knows that is not the solution, ever the solution. It's a waste of money and resources. Again and again, it is in violation of CDC guidelines, the Special Enforcement Zone resumption of Care Plus sweeps. They are sweeps, Mitch O'Farrell. We have video footage of tents being bulldozed in your district right after you said we don't do sweeps. And we're going to follow CDC guidelines. We saw sanitation workers throwing out packages of bottled water, or rather confiscating them during a heat wave, people not knowing that these Care Plus sweeps were resuming. This is insane, and y'all are going to keep getting called out for it until it changes.
As a reminder, make sure and press *9 if you would like to request to speak. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1656. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Helen Eichenberg. I'm a constituent. I live in 90004, and I'd love to speak on 10, 11, 12, and 13. 10, I totally support Mitch O'Farrell having the conversation with his own. Can you hear me?
Yes, and you have 2 minutes.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. I support if we can work with the owner of the St. Vincent Medical Center to repurpose that to use it for medical and mental health services during our homeless crisis. For 12, for 11, I also support looking into ways that we can help them more and provide more services to our mentally ill on the street. And 12, I also am supporting it as well, and that is the board and care services, and providing more funds or whatever we can do to include them in our homeless services, and just in getting them more money to take care of people living in board care residences. And finally, I support the repurposing of the Cole Rec Center as an emergency center during this pandemic and this homeless crisis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 7995. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, my name is Joy McManus, and I am calling in support of agenda items 10 and 13.
You have 2 minutes.
I think that it would be a great idea, and I know we heard about this last year, to repurpose St. Vincent as a permanent supportive housing and medical and psychiatric services location. Also, the Cole Recreation Center. And I agree with everyone on this call who said that we should be repurposing any available public locations that can't currently be used anyway because of COVID to help house and support our homeless neighbors. And I'm horrified by those on this call who suggest that the people that go out every day and risk their lives to help our homeless neighbors have a profit motive, that they might get a contract as a result of supporting these initiatives. And also the people who are so concerned about clearing the garbage from their neighborhoods, think about human life over your property values. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4990. Please press *6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hello, this is Harvey Eder with Public Solar Power. Okay, we were also working with Fabian Wesson on this homelessness thing. Our firstborn son has been homeless 20 years in LA. Okay, we're also working with a Wiener's committee in the Senate and this new session that's coming up on everything that we mentioned before. So,
continue.
Thank you. Okay, we talk for housing for permanence, for security, for dignity, self-respect, and community. This cannot be met unless we have home ownership. 60, 70% of us, poor people, people of color, we don't own. Are we children of a lesser God? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know why this has been kept out. It was, and as far as I know, it's not part of the settlement negotiations in Judge Carter's court. And there's about a month ago in the LA Times, incorporated by reference to the article, saying a half dozen groups saying you're violating the ADA and the Federal Fair Housing Act. And there's litigation going. They've been talking. I guess you're involved in that. I don't know. Okay. I've got experience. I've been 10%. I'm over 70 homeless. I got hurt working in Alaska oil pipe. I've been doing environmental stuff for 50 years. Got a living Christmas tree in the White House as the first environmental.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Just as a reminder, everyone has an opportunity to call in one time, and make sure that if you'd like to request to speak, press star and then 9. And then when you're identified to speak, please press star and 6. Next caller, please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 9009. Please press star 6 to unmute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hello, my name is Sheila Lane, and I'm calling to speak on item 13. I live in the Hollywood area, and I just want to say I strongly support the conversion of the Hollywood Cole Recreation Center into interim housing for our homeless neighbors. It sounds like a no-brainer to me. It sounds like a positive and constructive step towards solving this incredible crisis. And I agree with the prior caller who also was talking about item 10. Anytime you can repurpose a public facility that isn't being used right now to help the homeless, I say go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1900. Please press star 6 to mute and state your name and what items you would like to speak on.
Hi, good morning. This is Laura Regas with Abode Communities. I apologize. I don't have a public comment. I was just dialing in case there are questions about item number 2 that I may need to answer. So my apologies for any confusion with the dial-in.
That's okay. Thank you for standing by. We appreciate that. Next call.
You bet.
Mr. Chair, there are no more speakers in the queue.
All right. Thank you. And I'd like to thank everyone for calling in, taking the time on this Thursday morning to call in and give your thoughts and comments. Colleagues, unless there's an objection, I'd like to move items 1 through 9 and item 14 on consent. And for item 2, I'd like to approve the CAO report from October 2nd and receive and file the CAO report from October 1st. All right, Mr. Villanueva, if you could please do the roll call accordingly.
Certainly, sir. Councilmember Mitchell-Farrell?
Aye.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Mike Bonin?
Aye.
Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember David Rue?
Yes.
The items are all approved, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Now I'd like to move on to item 10. Ms. Amatia, if you could please read the item.
Item number 10, motion of Pharaoh Martinez relative to a discussion with Patrick Soon-Shiong and/or the Soon-Shiong Foundation regarding City and Los Angeles County partnership to provide medical and mental health services to city residents in need of acute care at St. Vinson Medical Center.
Thank you. Colleagues, here's what this is about. We need to ensure adequate mental health care while providing housing for people experiencing homelessness in our city. This motion, coupled with other motions that we're hearing today, are really part of the same approach. With over 41,000 Angelenos experiencing homelessness, and that's a number from the January 2020 point in count time before COVID-19. Our city's need for hospitals equipped to serve the most vulnerable was woefully inadequate already. Now the need is glaringly more obvious. In January of 2020, St. Vincent Medical Center in my district closed its doors, which led to the loss of over 1,000 jobs and a critically needed medical facility that provided care to vulnerable residents, many elderly low income, and or homeless. Currently, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong's foundation owns the hospital, which is not being used. We have a 366-bed facility in my district sitting empty in a city that is seeing yearly double-digit increases in homelessness, including people in obvious need of acute care who are dying on our streets in growing numbers every day. We need the city, county, and Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong to explore how we can partner to provide necessary medical and mental health services to the most vulnerable residents of LA at St. Vincent Medical Center. And that's what this is about. And I'd like to move this to the city council and exert pressure where it is needed. There has never been a more urgent time to marshal all the resources that we have at our disposal in the private and public sector to make things happen to address the needs of the city of Los Angeles. And that's what this effort is about. So I'm calling on the Patrick Soon-Shiong Family Foundation to enter into this conversation so that they can play a role as a private sector supporter of issues that are affecting Los Angeles into this conversation. And, Mr. Rue.
I just wanted to thank you for your leadership, Councilmember O'Farrell, and second what you just said, because, you know, as many of us said before, homelessness is not just a Skid Row issue or a Venice Beach issue or a Hollywood issue. It is a City of LA issue, and we need to tackle it as such. And homelessness is not just a housing issue, but it's also a mental health issue and an issue of poverty. So whether it's in my district or not, you know, I wholeheartedly support this because I think we all agree on this committee as well as the entire city council and with all the other callers that have called in who have been working on the front lines when it comes to this homeless humanitarian crisis. Anything that we can do. And I thank you for your leadership. And I know you've been working with our county supervisor, Hilda Solis, as well. And while this is outside of our jurisdiction, the county knows we are in full support any way which we could help. And I thank you for bringing this to everyone's attention again, because yes, during this time of COVID, during this time of increasing homelessness, the fact that anything is vacant, whether it's housing or whether it's a hospital, it is unconscionable. So I thank you for bringing this up and pushing this forward continually. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rue. All right. So with that, Mr. Villanueva, could you please call the roll?
Certainly, sir. Certainly, sir. Councilmember Mitchell Farrell?
Aye.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Mike Bonin?
Aye.
Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember David Rue?
Aye.
The item is approved, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to now move to items 11 and 12. Madam CLA, if you could please read the items.
Item number 11, motion O'Farrell, Martinez, Cedillo, Rodriguez, et al., relative to an in-depth analysis of the health services delivery system and the city's health commission hearings focused on people experiencing homelessness.
Colleagues, this committee's main focus has been to house people experiencing homelessness in our city. But we know that just providing housing isn't enough. Angelenos know that. Living on the streets experiencing homelessness in general is traumatic. Combined with the tens of thousands of people who have mental health and or substance abuse issues presents an enormous obstacle to keeping people on a path to wellness and keeping people permanently housed. Last week, I put forward 2 motions with 7 council signatures to assess all services provided by the 3 county departments of public health on behalf of the over 41,000 homeless Angelenos just in the city of Los Angeles. Currently, the health, mental health, and other supportive services for individuals experiencing homelessness provided by the county under contractual agreement since 1964 are beyond inadequate, profoundly beyond inadequate, especially as it relates to people experiencing homelessness in constant distress because of mental health and or substance abuse issues. This initiative will address these concerns while also making the city of LA a larger player in board and care retention and development. Additionally, these motions will set homeless reduction goals with the main objective of making sure that all available resources generated locally from the state or from the federal government are dedicated to placing everyone experiencing homelessness on a road to wellness and permanent housing. We need to take a closer, more purposeful look at all the programs and services designed over the years to address our homelessness crises. It is what Angelinos are rightly demanding, and it's what they're paying for. The status quo is not working. Just recently, and we can all give testimonials to what we've witnessed, there is a woman experiencing homelessness in Silver Lake that is now so incapacitated that she is now crawling around on the sidewalk, and half the time she's completely naked, living in filth, and I cannot get county mental health to get her indoors, despite trying. My staff worked with the fire departments a few years ago to house someone, put them in a hospital actually, because she was living on a bench in Echo Park and she had gangrene on her legs. We don't know what her fate eventually was, but we knew that she was going to die on that bench, and we got her medical care. There are overdoses all the time in the city. People found deceased in their tents, and I can tell you from conversations with LASA, with the fire department, with the police department, that there is seldom, if ever, any response whatsoever from the county when they make calls for service to help people with the descriptions that I just gave you. I think people are rightfully demanding a change in this status quo, and these initiatives seek to have a forensic look at what that is. And it's time, once and for all, to destigmatize mental health, addiction issues. Everyone that I know is aware, it's happened in my own family, of addiction issues. So it's our family members, it's our friends, and if we're truly to tackle this crisis, we need to look at where the deficiencies are. And there's no greater deficiency than allowing a naked woman to crawl around on her hands and knees on a sidewalk in the city of Los Angeles. And through contractual agreement, the county is the authority that is tasked with funding and, like I said, the authority to deal with that issue. There are a myriad array of obstacles and complications to addressing it, but I think people at this point are fed up and don't care about what those complications are. Folks want to see these most vulnerable among us get the help they need so that they can live, they can survive, and even be put on a path to wellness. The human spirit is amazing. The ability for people to overcome incredible difficulties in their personal lives is phenomenal, and we need to give these people a chance. And we do that by putting them in a continuum of care that will see to it until they are well. And that is what is lacking in the overall scheme of things. Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank you and the others on this motion for this motion. I think it is incredibly important. As someone who has had his own struggles with addiction and with chronic depression, I don't think that there's a more important issue that we can be working on than trying to address some of the problems with our mental health and our public health system. I mean, it's not. I think while we're discussing it in this committee, this isn't just an issue about homelessness. This is an issue about a mental health system that just doesn't work generally. And I mean, it's terrifying that the largest mental health institution that we have in the area is the LA County jail system. I mean, that should never be a place where people with mental health are sent, particularly under the current regime. But I think it's also important to note that not only are mental health issues and addiction sometimes a cause or a contributing factor to homelessness, they are very often a consequence of homelessness. There are many people who have their first encounter with drugs and become addicted while on the streets. There are many people who may be fairly well and may have for instance, a mild case of depression and living on the streets with all of the daily trauma that causes mental health and public health issues to manifest to a much greater degree. So I think this is a really important thing to be doing. I would ask the staff that is working on this to also, by means of comparison, take a look at how things work in Long Beach, which has their own health department, and whether or not that winds up getting a better delivery of services that we don't seem to be getting in the city of Los Angeles. And I think one of the things we have to consider, and it's a big thing, it's a big thing to consider, and it's got trade-offs either way, is whether or not we need our own department here in the city of Los Angeles, separate from the county. As we discuss reimagining policing and many of the things that we're discussing about changing emergency response and having more mental health workers, that the only way we may be able to do that is if we're able to control the resources ourselves. So again, thanks for the motion, and just hope that staff can consider those things that I just mentioned.
Thank you, Mr. Bonin, and that's exactly where this effort could lead. I think we should have every option on the table. If the system was working, we wouldn't have double-digit increases every year. And you can extrapolate into the next few years, and just in the city alone, if the trend continues as is, just in the city of LA, we're going to have 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people living on the streets. And that is just something that should horrify everyone. And what it's going to require is, as I mentioned, a forensic look at everything with an incredible sense of urgency. So I appreciate your remarks. All right. If there are no other remarks, before we move this forward, I neglected to hear item 13 read into the record. So Ms. 12. Okay, so you read 13, but not 12. So Ms. Amatia, if you could please read 12 as well.
Item number 12, motion of Pharaoh, Martinez, Cedillo, Rodriguez, and others relative to the state of adult residential facilities
So we're good.
and residential care facilities for the elderly citywide, and the integration of board and care facility programs into the city's homeless strategic plan.
Thank you so much. So we're voting on 11 and 12. Just to clarify, I got the numbers mixed up. My apologies. Mr. Villanueva, please read the roll.
Okay, sir. Councilmember Micho Farrell?
Aye.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Mike Bonin?
Aye.
Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember David Rue?
Yes.
Both items are approved, sir.
Thank you so much. Next, that brings us to item 13. So Ms. Amati, if you could please read item 13.
Item number 13, motion of Pharaoh Price relative to the feasibility of using the Hollywood Recreation Center facility at 1122 Cole Avenue as interim housing for persons experiencing homelessness in Council District 13.
Thank you. Colleagues and callers, I want to really explain this intent and the rationale behind it. For 7 months, with the exception of the temporary COVID care, emergency care center for people experiencing homelessness during the early days of the pandemic. For 7 months, aside from that, this facility, the entire park facility, including the active recreation yards, has been closed to the public, specifically the ball fields. They are going to be closed for a number of years because the current facility is scheduled or will soon be scheduled for demolition, and it will be replaced with a brand new state-of-the-art facility in Hollywood at the rec center on Cole and Santa Monica Boulevard. During the construction period of the new recreation center, the active recreation fields will still be closed. The entire facility, the entire grounds will not be open to the public for the next several months because of COVID. For the entire duration of the demolition of the current gym facility and the construction of the replacement facility. Conversely, there is a pool facility there with showers, with running water. The site has electricity that will not be interrupted during the demolition nor construction of the new facility. In other words, the entire facility, including the ball fields, will be closed for a minimum of 2 years. And that's a very conservative estimate. It's probably going to be more. So the reason for the complete closure of the facility, which is the practice for recreation and parks when a new facility is replaced, is precisely the reason why this site makes sense for a temporary pallet shelter community. We have various schematics being worked up that show that approximately 100 pallet houses could be placed there with running water, with electricity, with climate control inside the pallet shelters, with access to showers. This can be accommodated during the demolition of the current facility and during the construction of the new facility if accommodations are made. And that's exactly why I'm proposing this temporary use. I mentioned earlier about St. Vincent, how we have to really come together and make use of every shred of real estate we possibly can, especially when it does not cause displacement of any other use. And that's exactly what this site is about. In the meantime, my office will work diligently with other nearby facilities so that local kids can still have the recreational opportunity. We would do that regardless. So once COVID eases, the community can still have a place for recreation. That's already a given. So I think some folks misunderstand that we're displacing recreational uses for local kids, and we're not, because the facility will be closed regardless. So I just want to make sure that the public and that everyone understands that Recreation and Parks understands this, that all city departments understand that that is precisely why this site is a perfect match to help address the issue of our day. And that is getting people under a roof and on a path to wellness at a site where it is so desperately needed. Within blocks of there are enormous encampments, and we need the relief for people experiencing homelessness and getting them into case management, getting resources and services and a path to wellness. So colleagues, I ask for an aye vote so that we can get this proposal to the full city council and get it moving forward. Through.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I just want to again thank you for your leadership and your courage in doing this. As a neighboring colleague of yours, where we share many of the borders of Hollywood, this is exactly what we talked about when you introduced your St. Vincent's motion. You know, Angelinos don't know, or do they care, what side of the street our unhoused neighbors are on. And our homeless individuals don't understand what district they're in either. What they need is they need help. And the fact that the more housing we could open for our unhoused neighbors, whether it's permanent supportive housing or whether it's temporary housing, bridge housing, or in the case of pallet housing here, is what is desperately needed. So I wholeheartedly support this. Many of the speakers who called in to support, again, from the neighborhood, as well as the various service provider organizations, as well as the chambers of commerce that have all called in, are in full support, because everybody knows nothing solves homelessness like a home. And it begins with this, and I thank you for finding this creative use. This will benefit not just the unhoused neighbors in Council District 13, but the unhoused neighbors in that entire area, because we have to tackle it again as a citywide approach. So I thank you for your leadership, and I wholeheartedly support this motion and hope that this opens as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Rue. And it's worth noting that for the few short years that this will be operating, provided we prevail, within those few short years, we will have in the thousands of HHH units open and ready for people to move in permanently. So we have to have this production of safe parking sites, temporary shelters. As we have even a larger production of permanent home construction and or rehabilitation of existing buildings for people experiencing homelessness, we have to have this process up and running. And as I mentioned earlier, look everywhere where there's real estate availability, and especially in instances where it doesn't cause any displacement whatsoever, in a managed and safe environment. So I appreciate your remarks. And with that, Mr. Villanueva, will you please call the roll?
Certainly, sir. Councilmember Mitchell Farrell?
Aye.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Mike Bonin?
Aye.
Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember David Drew?
Yes.
The item is approved, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva, and thank you, colleagues. And Mr. Villanueva, do we have anything else?
The desk is clear, sir.
Today.
The desk is clear, sir.
All right. Thank you all. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.